There we go. Good
Good
morning. Good
morning. Welcome to the Angel and Tina Morning Show.
With our
Welcome.
special guest this morning, Les Brown. Les, how are you doing?
I'm blessed to be in the presence of greatness.
You're
I think
looking good today in that
say that
red
about you.
rainbow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Les, you got a new hairdo, it looks like.
Oh, yes, this is the Corona Afro. I haven't, my hair hasn't been this long since I was in high school.
Just what, last year?
No, that's been a long time. I'm 75 years old, buddy.
Ooh, looking good, Les. Looking
I
good.
like it. I like you rocking the afro though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All
It
right.
looks good. And I love your background. I love your rainbow.
Thank you.
Yeah, my husband is his hair is pretty long too, and I keep offering to just go buzz it off in the deck, and he's like, no, no, it's all right.
You're good at a lot of things, but this I don't think so.
Right. No. I take a pass.
Les, how have you been doing? What have you been doing for the last 6 weeks? How's your quarantine been?
Well, it's been good because I completed my book called You've Got to Be Hungry, The Greatness Within to Win. And so I'm excited about this. And
We got to get that book.
Yes.
You got to say it right though, Les.
Yeah, you got to use your word.
Yeah, you got to be hungry.
Hungry.
Yes. And today, when you think about over 36 million people have lost their jobs and millions of companies are going under, that in order to make it today, you've got to be hungry. You have to go all out. It's going to take everything in you. And we're in a place where we've never been before, where on one hand, we're being stripped. On the other hand, we're being restricted on how we can go after that which we have lost. Because if we make the wrong move, we can lose our lives. So we have to be mindful of social distancing and from people and the refrigerator. And we have to.
I love that you got a social distance from the refrigerator.
Yes.
Angel and I were just talking about that a few minutes ago.
Right. Yes. And we have to take the time to go within, to clear our minds, to begin to develop and engage in a process that allow us to develop ourselves in the areas where we're weak, to strengthen ourselves in those areas where we're weak, and to take on some new skills, evaluate and determine what relationships will we maintain, what are the relationships we need to let go of, what are the relationships we need to deepen, and what will our lives look like, the next chapter of our lives. We want to come out of this creating a new story. We don't want to come out with the same story. We want to be ready to create a new story so that we are in this cocoon to maximize our potential for manifesting our greatness.
Wow. So let's say
Mic drop.
right. He's like comes in and out. I love that you're talking about the new chapter. You're 75 years old and you're talking about the next chapter. And I just think that is so inspiring, right? You have been around the block. You've seen a few economic challenges. You've seen probably, a lot of different things that have happened in our country and our economy. Right now, when we talk about like being hungry, what are some things that you want to see different coming out, for folks?
Well, first of all, I think it's very important as we recognize, and it's said so often to the extent that it can be trivialized, that crises that we're in means danger in the Chinese language, but it also means opportunity. Unfortunately, the majority of people, with the help of the internet and media, are focusing on the dangers and not looking for and searching out the opportunities. we have the ability to maximize our downtime. My son used that term, John Leslie, who's a speaker, trainer, and author. And I said, why do you call it downtime? He said, that's when we engage in behavior that prevent us from going up. That now we're not given that luxury of looking at stress-free, television or things that will alleviate the stress in our lives. We need to watch things that we can learn, that can upgrade our knowledge, that can expand our awareness, and to do some thinking about who am I at this point in my life. It was Socrates said, the unexamined life isn't worth living. And when you're living in a time where we're losing a lot of people, I just read this morning, a nurse went in and she treated someone and she died 4 days later. So this is serious, and a lot of people are not taking it seriously, unfortunately. And so Viktor Frankl, in his book called Man's Search for Meaning, he said that adversity introduces a man to himself and a woman. And so we have to begin to ask ourselves, as we look at where we are and look at and become clear where we're going, what is it that I want for this next chapter in my life? And who is it I have to be to accomplish that? Because you don't, as Earl Nightingale said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. So what behaviors, what choices I need to let go of, what relationships no longer serve me. There are two types of relationships. There are nourishing relationships. There are toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships hold you accountable. They bring the best out of you. They challenge you. They inspire you. Toxic relationships, these are relationships you need to let go or be dragged. They will drag you down. I read a quote the other day that I love very much. Don't complain about the emotional vampires in your life when you're continuously providing the straw.
Snap. Oh,
Yes. Ow.
we all know, we've done that, right? We're just passing straws out to people here.
Right?
Yes.
Suck all the energy out. Go ahead, here.
Yes. And so this is a time where you have to evaluate your relationships. And Jim Rohn said, ask this question as you look at your relationships. What is this relationship doing to me? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Is this relationship bringing the best out of me? Is it challenging me? Is it pushing me to go to that next level? And most people don't realize that you can never, ever go to that next level in your life and have a major breakthrough if you are dealing in relationships that's on your level or below your level. I used to play chess a lot, and I always played chess with people that could play better than me, and that I had to really stretch to be competitive, because that's where I would learn. I used to be a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. When I got a piece of legislation passed through my communication skills, I won because of what I knew. When I failed because of what I didn't know. And I had to go back to the drawing board. And so we're living in this era, as you are aware, of what Peter Drucker called the era of the 3 Cs: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. So we have to run just to stand still. We have to look at ourselves and ask the question, what is it? What area of my life do I need to focus on right now that will allow me to be more competitive? Because Robert Schuller used to say, you either expand or you are expendable. And so we have to work on ourselves, all dimensions of ourselves. People say, you look good for 75. Well, this is not by accident. I work on it. I will be out walking today, exercising. I eat a lot of rabbit food. I feel like a silly rabbit. I laugh a lot, And so my goal and objective is I ask people, what's your strategy for being here? Being here is not a given. We're losing a lot of young people today. And when you look at the climate that we're in, before the coronavirus, the suicide rate in America, where people die trying to get here, has increased over 32% since 1999 to now. Now, with the coronavirus, it has increased dramatically, particularly with kids from 5 to 11. Domestic violence has increased. People are having mental breakdowns. So the kind of program that you provide, it really provides a service for people in that it helped them to begin to get an optimistic vision of life and a vision of themselves beyond their mental conditioning and their circumstances, and allow them to live out of their imagination rather than their history. Einstein said the imagination is the preview of what's to come. And so I'm encouraging people to have a vision of where you're going. What does the next chapter in your life look like? And what radical change in your behavior that must take place in order for you to make that become a reality. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yeah, you are, I mean, you are speaking right to the heart and soul. I think everybody who is listening to this, and especially, we've all been home. And I think at first, we're doing our part, right? We're doing our part to be safe and to be protective. And it's kind of exciting to know, right, that we're home and we've got more family time. We can have more time to take care of ourselves. But we're getting to a place, Les, where we are struggling, right? Where's our purpose? Without all this interaction with face-to-face human interaction, or going out and working and being productive, it feels like we're losing a sense of who we are. And I can see that people are they're just getting so.
We're using that time. We're finding that time where we're trying to find out who we are. We're like, oh, we have the time now to sit there and think and find our purpose and try to find it. And some of us are struggling to find that purpose.
Well, Mark Twain said the two most important days in your life, the day that you're born and the days that you realize why you were born. But even beyond that, there's some basic human needs we have, like touching, caressing. Touch deprivation is major. Yeah. And so when we can't hug, they say, oh, just a virtual hug. That's not a hug.
That's not a hug. That is not a hug. Or not even being able to, like, when you're out in public, to see each other's faces, or to treat strangers, right, as if they have the plague, right? Like there's this.
Yes, and I was in the house by myself the other day in my room, self-quarantine. I sneezed and I ran out the room.
Gotta wash my hands.
And wash my hands, yes.
Les, are you an extrovert or an introvert?
I'm an ambivert.
Yeah.
Yes, a combination of both.
Yeah.
But this is so when you are looking at people coming to your house to drop things off, and you tell them just drop it outside the door,
Don't come in, don't touch the doorbell, don't touch the knob,
and then
don't
you
touch nothing.
And you bring it to the garage and spray it down with Lysol. Oh, you say, what is this, a movie? Come on, tell me, Lord. Tell me this is the movie. This is going to end. And then while we are grappling with that, they say, oh, there's a killer bee out. What? I saw this fat bee in my backyard, look like he should have been going to Weight Watchers. I said, I think that's a killer bee. My son said, come in the house, Dad.
Your laughter is contagious. It really is.
Oh, thank you. But I'm a happy camper. I'm very happy. So
you have been everywhere speaking during this time. I think every time I turn on or get an invitation, like Les Brown is speaking here and Les Brown is our guest here. I know this week you're going to be with Manny Lopez. I mean, you've really upped your game, I think, during the last 6 weeks.
What's going on is a speaker's dream. I will never get on a plane again. Movies are doing that. I've been to 51 countries. I will never, oh, well, they've removed the middle seat. Is that right? Well, what is there? A motivated corona germ that says, you know what? I'm going to take out a 75-year-old man today. No, I'm not going.
You're gonna self-quarantine forever.
That's right. I'm not going to make God work overtime. No, no, no. So I'm not going to fly anymore. And so now I'm training speakers how to tell their story, how to create an experience individually and collectively with an audience to transform their consciousness. See, the show that you're doing and the position that you've taken with your life, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And so what the two of you do with your positive personalities and the objective of your show, you distract, dispute, and inspire. You distract them from their story. With your guests and the topics that you cover, you dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to create a new chapter with their lives. And so this is what we have to do today, because when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. So the conversations that you have, your laughter, your personality, your charisma, and plus you're beautiful too, that helps.
Just a little bit.
It makes your work so much easier. But with me, I have to do somersaults. I got to do the split. I got to speak in unknown tongues. I got
to laugh a lot.
Yeah, and laugh a lot in order to make some impact.
I heard you mention how laughter increases your lifespan.
It does. What 1 minute of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. And so, but the area of psychoneuroimmunology, and one of the reasons that I laugh a lot, Dr. Norman Cousins, who wrote a book called The Anatomy of Illness, and he was a physicist and had a diagnosis that he was going to die within a few months. And he started watching a lot of Lucille Ball movies and Groucho Marx and Jimmy DeRandy. Good night, good night, good night, good night, Miss Calabish, wherever you are. The millenniums don't know anything about them. You don't either. You were in diapers when that was on television. And so what he did by watching those comedies, he found out that it strengthens your immune system. 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. So people, after they get through watching us today, won't get sick for 20 years.
Yay! All thanks to the Angel and Tina Morning Show.
Yes, absolutely. So
they're going to be hungry and they're going to be healthy.
Right?
Yes.
Hungry and healthy.
And
Wes, what are some of the things that you do every morning to start your day? How does Les Brown start his day every day?
I have an affirmation that I say to myself, and I encourage people to do the same. I say, Lord, whatever I face today, together you and I can handle it.
Amen.
I say that 3 times. Lord, whatever I face today, together you and I can handle it. Next thing I do, I write down 7 things that I'm grateful for, my gratitude list.
Do you have Tina's gratitude journal yet, Les?
I need to send it to you.
Yeah, you just sent it to me?
Yes, I just sent you my gratitude journal.
Oh, very good. I'll be looking for it. Thank you so much for hooking a brother up. All right. Yeah. So I write down my gratitude list.
Seven things of gratitude every day?
Every day, 7 days a week. Next thing is I review what I want to get out of this day that I wrote down last night. Most people, they get up in the morning and they just want to get through the day. Well, at night before I retire, I write down what are the things that I have accomplished that I feel good about, and what are the things that I want to accomplish tomorrow. And I make it a practice to learn something today that I did not know yesterday. And so that way you are continuing to expand. You are continuing to be sharp. You know, Abraham Lincoln said, if I had 6 hours to chop a tree down, I'll spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. And so we want to continuously sharpen our axe, sharpen our minds because of this knowledge-driven world where we are today.
Wow.
Well, and you can tell that Les reads, right? You're always quoting books, you're always quoting authors, and you can tell that you've surrounded yourself with all of this extra knowledge. Les, who would you say are your mentors that you are aspiring to, or that you're learning from right now?
Mike Williams has been my mentor for 51 years. He saw this Les Brown before I saw him. And he wrote a book called The Road to Your Best Stuff. The Road to Your Best Stuff. People can get it on Amazon. The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword to it. And I remember I was at WVKO radio station. He was my newsman. And he said, Brownie, and I had just come from a motivational event with Zig Ziglar, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and a few other speakers. He said, you know why you go to those events? I said, yeah, I like their message. It's motivational, it's inspiring. He says, not just that, you like to help people. That's who you are. And I said, oh, I could never do that. You know my background, being labeled educable mental retarded in the 5th grade, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failing again in the 8th grade. I said, I could never do that. These guys have MBAs and PhDs and wealth that I don't have, and corporate experience. And he had said, Brownie, he said, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn.
Wow.
If you're willing to invest in yourself, I'll be your strategist and your coach.
Oh.
And it's been 51 years. It's very important to have someone believe in you until your belief kicks in.
Yes.
And I didn't see it. I couldn't see it at that time. And the other thing is, it's very important for us to bring people in our lives that can take us to a place within ourselves that we cannot go by ourselves, because you can't see the label when you're in the box. And so it has been quite an experience, an adventure, because I had no idea. Being adopted and then a foster kid, I had no idea I would be traveling around the world speaking to millions of people. I spoke at the Georgia Dome. People can go online and see me speaking to 80,000 people. And the presentation is called It's Not Over Till You Win. And I'll never forget how nervous I was. And I felt like my heart was about to jump out of my chest. And I'll never forget, he looked at me and he says, Brownie, you got this. Make your mother proud. And when he said that, it's like he connected me with my superpower. And I turned, they gave me the microphone and I gave the presentation, but I don't remember doing it. I can't remember nothing. All I do know is when I left the stage, I ran to the bathroom just to do number one. So that's
I thought maybe to throw up.
I thought maybe to throw up too. How long was your speech?
It was 34 minutes to 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome.
I bet some of our listeners have watched that on YouTube at some time or another.
Oh, yes. And so I train speakers now, because you learn, you earn, you pass it on. And my goal is now is to train people who are hungry to be able to make a difference and to earn income. Just think about this right now, what we're doing. 36 million people have lost their jobs. 2007, Time magazine said the computer is the person of the year. Why? Because now with the computer, which eliminates geography, people who are watching now can create an online business. They have access to information and e-commerce. And so now I'm going to have seminars and workshops in different cities across the country, and I don't have to be there physically. They'll put me on a big screen and I will talk to them and share with them strategies that they can interact together and be able to create a shift in their thinking. And so this computer is really making our lives a lot simpler. People have to understand that going into an office, Twitter sent out a memo and say, you can work from home forever. You don't ever have to come into the office again. So they don't want the expense of those big buildings and the utilities and the maintenance and the upkeep of all of that. Now people can work from home on their computer. And so you can learn so many things and do so many things. And so this is new industries will be birthed out of this time where we are. New ideas, new inventions, creativity. There's never shortage of money. The money has not left the planet. As Robert Schuller said, it's just a shortage of thinking. And we have to expand our thinking. And that's what you guys help people to begin to do as thought coaches, help them to begin to think in a larger context.
I love it. All right, let's talk about the book less. Did somebody write the foreword in your book?
Yes, Joe Polish.
Oh, all right. I'm like, okay, right. This is somebody who, right, when you put your book out, is an opportunity to really also shine the light on somebody else who has made an impact in your world. So love hearing who wrote the foreword for your book. When does it come out?
It is out now. They can go to, if they go to I Am Hungry Les Brown, I Am Hungry Les Brown, and order the book. Okay, it will take them right to Amazon.
We're gonna put that link in the comments below for you guys to grab it too, for you who are watching on a replay.
Yeah, right. I Am Hungry Les Brown. Okay, so when did it come out?
It came out 2 weeks ago, and what they will find, one, they will begin to learn how to live a heart-centered life. Most of us live the life that we have been given. All of us are born unique, but most of us die copies. And so this will help them to learn how to live from their heart. We were not born to work for a living, but to live our making, and living our making will make our living. The other thing, the U stands for urgency. I was going to do a PBS special with Wayne Dyer, and we kept putting it off, being busy, and we'll call each other and talk, and we would go through ideas of how we were going to do it. And then he called me and said, Les, I'm coming to Orlando. Let's go to public television and let's videotape this thing and make some money for them. And I said, great. Then a few days later, I get a call. Have you heard? I said, what? Wayne Dyer, he's gone. I said, gone where? He left. He had a heart attack in his sleep. Wow. And so I talk about the fact, live your life with a sense of urgency. Live your life like you're gonna die, because one day you will. I remember being at Caesar's Palace and Frank Sinatra was at the table. I was at that time married to Gladys Knight. And I heard him say to a guy, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. And most people put things off and don't understand. Like, remember Michael Jackson said, this is it. They spent millions of dollars on stadiums, on staff, on marketing and promotion, and it never got off the ground. They never did one concert. He had no idea that he would not be here. And so I live with a sense of urgency. The things that I envision doing, I do them now. And I tell my children, let's take care of business right now. I'm building a legacy for my children and for my children's children. I'm suing the Catholic Church, a class action suit. They came up with the rhythm method. I have rhythm, but I have 5 boys and 5 girls. So I'm suing them. Okay? The rhythm method does not work.
Your little boys had some rhythm too, right? Little swimmers.
Oh yeah, no, the rhythm method don't work. So I have 5 boys, 5 girls, and I have 15 grandchildren and 4 great-grandsons.
Wow.
That's
4 great-grandsons? And your boys run in your family.
Yes. And let me tell you, they have a lot of energy. My goodness.
They do.
I can outrun the little babies, though. I can outrun them. I used to outrun everybody else, but I had to lower my scale. I said, I can beat you little dudes running, your little short legs, little short fat legs.
I used to be able to wrestle my son, and I could keep up, but he got to a point where Mama
No.
can't do that anymore.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, when my three boys started getting a bit taller than me, I was like, they were like, "You can't do nothing to me." I said, "Listen, I'm still your mama. I can still do anything I want to."
Right. I just saw a movie. I don't know if you saw it. It really, everybody else has seen this movie but me, but it put me in reflective mode. I saw it last night. Benjamin Button. Have you ever seen that movie?
A long time
The
ago.
Life of Benjamin Button. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
I
aging
never
backwards.
saw that movie. It had a profound impact. I don't know, maybe because I'm adopted, but I I saw that and it started making me think about reflecting on my life. And somebody asked me, what would you say to the young Les Brown today? And if you had an opportunity to do that, and I would say to him, don't lose your hunger, because if you lose the hunger to live what's in your heart, you will give up your dream. You will live a life that has been given you. There was a movie that I saw, The Truman Story. You know who played that? Remember the actor who played the lead
Jim,
role?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. And his life was real, but everybody else, it was a performance. And when he discovered that, he wanted to escape. And the guy who put it together said he won't leave. And they asked why. And he said something that was worth the whole movie. He said, most people live the life that they have been given. And so if you don't have hunger, you live the life that has been given to you, that has been presented to you, as opposed to living the life that's in your heart. Because we have the ability to do things that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. When you're willing to bet on you, I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years because I didn't feel that I could compete with people who had PhDs and MBAs and more money than I had. And I remember writing to Gunther Rinker, who sponsored the infomercial for Tony Robbins. And I said, I have an inspirational story. Would you do an infomercial with me? I'm looking for a partner. And when I got the letter back from them, I was so excited. And then I was shocked. It said, you are Black. We don't believe that America is ready for a Black motivational speaker. And so I wrote them back, thanks for reminding me that I'm Black. I never would have known that if you had told me. I said, I'll see you from the top.
And here you are.
Les, you have been saying, like, and even when people hear it, like, you gotta be hungry, like they use your tone. When
And
did
they
you
even
say
say
that?
it like he does.
I know you have to, right?
Hungry.
Right? Like, how long have you been saying that, and when did that start?
In 1992, yes, when I did the PBS special, and one called "You Deserve," people can see that online on YouTube, and I'm encouraging people to watch 4 videos to help them to do the 3 steps of that thing that's very important for people today, to develop mental resolve. That we have to strengthen ourselves mentally to handle what we are dealing with right now. We've never been in this place before. This is new territory. And so what will help them to bolster their faith and strengthen their confidence is Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. You got to be hungry. The next one's called Getting Unstuck. That's one that's strong, that will help them. It's Possible is another strong one. And You Deserve. Watching those on a regular basis will strengthen their mindset. The next thing that's important is upgrading your skill set. This is a time where you need at least 3 to 4 core competencies. You don't want to be one dimensional in this new world where we are. The 40, pardon me, the 40-40 plan is gone, where you can go to college, graduate, and then get a job and work for 40 years and retire in 40%, which wasn't enough in the first place. That day is gone. You have to have at least 3 or 4 competencies, multiple streams of income. My mother said to me early on, she said, it's a poor rat that only has one hole to get some cheese out of. And so I speak, I train speakers, I'm an author, and I do productions, and so I've created multiple streams of income. It's better to have money and not need it than to need it and not have it. And the third thing is you have to create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. You can't make it by yourself in this world today. You want to have relationships with people who have knowledge that you don't have, skills, resources, and contacts that you don't have. And you want to be around people that you can learn from. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. So you want to be around people that you can learn from mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and financially, and let go or be dragged down by those toxic people in your life who just, they're always there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them.
Right. And, and sometimes we're related to some of those people, but we don't have to give them the straw.
Right. Absolutely.
Straw away.
Right. I was trying to help my twin brother lose weight and I gained 14 pounds. So I just said, you know what? My mother had a sign on her mirror for years, and it was, oh Lord, help me keep my nose out of other people's business.
Wow.
So I just said, I'm just going to be your brother, and you just do whatever it is that works for you. It's none of my business.
Les, you talk a lot about your mom, and we all know your story and how your mom took you guys in. What are some of the things that your mom taught you guys that you would never forget?
The value of resiliency. She only had a 3rd grade education. She never had any children herself. And I came up during a time where when I used to go to work with my mother, because the neighbors didn't want to keep me, they would keep my brothers and sisters. They said that I was a little touched in the head.
Bless your heart.
And then she said, bless your heart.
Yes, right. And bless his heart. And so
The angel in the South, bless your heart means a little bit something different.
right.
Oh.
And so I remember the signs on Miami Beach that said Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. And there were actually places on Miami Beach where dogs can go that we weren't allowed to go. And I remember learning from my mother. She never, ever complained. She looked at it and she never took it in. She didn't personalize it. And I said, Mama, why do they hate us so much? And she said, I don't know, Leslie. I don't know, but don't you hate back? And I said, why, Mama? She said, because that's not who we are. And I'll never forget that the worst thing that we can do is duplicate the level of darkness and meanness and hatred that's directed at us and decide that we're going to give it back. Always operate from a place of love. God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them.
Wow.
So, like, we're not supposed to have dead air, Tina. We're like just like soaking
I know,
this
we're
in.
like-
And you're like, oh, keep going, Liz, keep going.
It's like church.
You have impacted so many people, and you still are. You are still us. Like, what do you like? How do you keep your energy up? How do you keep delivering? Because you could stop. You could totally stop, Les. Like you've done, right? And you could stop, but you get up, and you're still delivering. You're still serving. You're still impacting. What keeps you going?
The same thing that drives you, and I think what that is a desire to live a life that will outlive us. That's why you do this show. You don't have to do this show, but you want your life to count. You want your life to have meaning and value. You want to live an impactful life. Most people, when they die, we won't know that they've gone for like 2 or 3 weeks with people calling, checking, or some stench coming through the walls of their apartment or their home where they've been there because their life had been so little in terms of impact. And I believe that we were chosen, we were created on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. That there's something that God said, wait a minute, I got 400 million sperms. Wait, I want that one there, and I want that one there. That there's something we have that was not here before the two of you showed up. And so we are, I believe, we are obligated to leave the world in better shape than how we found it. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And so you might take it lightly doing this program, you do it on a regular basis, but there's some people that when they hear your voice and they're in a dark place because of your personalities, because of your laughter, because of your guests, because of your goal and vision to impact their lives and give them a sense of optimism, they will decide not to take their lives. I saw this guy who was being interviewed. He jumped off the San Francisco bridge, and he's one of the few people that survived. And he said the moment that he let go, he knew he had made a mistake and he didn't want to die. And they asked him, said, why did you do it? He said, when he left home that morning, he said he was just hoping if someone looked at him and smiled or spoke to him, that he would feel his life mattered, and he wouldn't do it. And no one made eye contact. No one spoke to him. So he felt invisible, that his life did not matter. And he decided to take his life. And fortunately, he failed. And now he talks to people who are struggling right now. And there are a great deal that are struggling right now that's saying, I don't know if I can deal with this. A lady who said the other day, I've lost everything. And I'm talking to the television. I said, but you're here. You didn't lose your life. All the things you lost, you can get those things back. You didn't lose everything. When you lose your life and you have all the things, you have lost everything when you lose your life, because you cannot manifest things and create things from the cemetery. But as long as we're breathing, as long as we have a pulse, as long as there's not a chalk outline around our bodies, it's the best day of our lives. If we don't believe it, just try missing one.
Right?
You don't get to miss too many of those, right?
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so Les, how do you, because you've got so much going on, how do you stay organized? How do you show up on time? How do you keep everything like spinning? And
I think there's
track
probably
everything?
one or two people in the background here that are going, me.
Yeah.
He's like, I
My
got
youngest
people.
son, John Leslie, he keeps me organized. I'm
Okay.
very fortunate. Yes, he's a brilliant young man. So he keeps me organized, and my oldest daughter, Ona, Dr. Ona Brown. So they are speakers and authors and trainers. And so, as you get to a certain age, you're going to experience this. They think they are my parents. They tell me, you don't need to drive. You talk and you run red lights. I said, but I haven't hit anybody yet.
But have you died?
Right. So they took my driver's license. I don't drive.
Oh.
So yeah, that's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
honey, you live in Atlanta. You can't run red lights in Atlanta.
I know, but I didn't hit anybody. I mean, I got coverage, Okay. And so it's been interesting. Betty Davis said, old age is not for wimps. And she did not lie. I remember my mother saying in church, I thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning. And I said, Mama, why do y'all say that every Sunday? She said, don't worry.
You'll,
You live long enough.
you'll know.
You'll
You'll
find out.
really.
Well,
One day.
right, 75. I went in the room the other day looking for something. I forgot what I was looking for. I went in there and I found it. Then I forgot why I was looking for it. So Julie said, "You need some ginkgo biloba." So I went down to Walgreens. Lady said, "May I help you?" I said, "I forgot why I'm here." She said, "Come over here. We got something from your memory." So she gave me a few things and I brought them home. Now I forgot where I put them.
And you said, "Mama, now I know."
I know. So I woke up this morning. I say, "Thank you, Lord, for waking me up in my right mind this morning." That's one of the first things that I write on my gratitude list.
Mhm. Right, being in your right mind. I've known to put my glasses on, I've got them on my head, and then I put another pair on. I'm like, oh, okay, right? You forget. You just get into a habit. You get into a routine. Les, thank you for saying those very kind things about our show, because I think so many of us, we are going through life just going through the motions or doing what we've always done and not realizing the value and the impact that our optimism, our encouragement, eye contact, those nourishing relationships, being there for others, listening, how valuable that can be. And we dismiss it so easily because it doesn't seem like it's grand enough. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Yes. And you do bring a lot of value, and you bring it in a way that people can take it in. Einstein said that genius is the capacity to make the complicated simple. And so when you can make people laugh and feel good and inspire them too, it doesn't get any better than that. So the two of you are very gifted. And so I listened to you prior to coming on. I always listen to people before I interview with them to see what type of personalities am I dealing with up in here. So I've been looking forward to this. Yes, indeed. And I know that some days
So we don't make you lose your mind up in here.
Right. And I know there are days you come in and you haven't taken your medication, and it's okay. We love it.
We're not supposed to tell people we take medication. Angel and I started this morning show a little over 6 weeks ago, and we wanted to bring a little bright sunshine to everybody's day in the morning. And when we came up with the idea, we kind of got it from our Connect Summit that we did, our first Connect Summit we did 6 weeks ago. And now we're working on Connect Summit 4.
And you're going to be a guest on.
And Les is going to be one of our keynote speakers.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, and we've had so many audiences, and we talk about this all the time, that, so many more people are able to attend these events because they don't have to fly. They don't have to get daycare. They don't have to do any of these things. So now they're getting all of this education, all of this knowledge that they can now implement into their business. So when we started this, we were just going to do it just during the quarantine. And I called her up like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I said, I think we should continue, because everybody's like, oh, I have somebody for your show. And I mean, people, well, sometimes we can't go live on Facebook. Thank goodness we're able to go live today. But when we're not there, they're texting us, where are you? Where are you? I need my Angel and Tina fix.
Yes.
And so it inspires us, what you said, that we are that little bright sunshine for their day.
It's very meaningful, and people need it now more than ever before. And I'm looking forward to doing the summit with you. And I encourage everybody to mail us some rolls of toilet paper. We appreciate it very much.
Don't waste that. Don't waste that.
No, I'm not
right there. You might get some hate mail pretty soon for misusing the toilet paper.
It's gonna recycle it.
Listen, you don't have to tell me about recycling. I have somebody that I live with who recycles everything. Like, now we use the napkins, we use the paper towel.
Oh, all right. So the book, I Am Hungry. Show it again. Do you have it handy?
Yes, I am hungry.
Hungry.
I am hungrylesbrown.com. Go there and order the book. It's called You've Got to Be Hungry, The Greatness Within to Win. you've got to be hungry, the greatness within to win. If they go to I Am Hungry Les Brown, they will not only be able to order the book, but we have a QR code in there, and we also will send them some other videos and other materials that have over a $250 value.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, that is generous. That is absolutely generous, right? Go and grab your copy. You know that we've all been watching Les Brown. We've all been inspired by Les. Les, I saw you speak at an event in LA in 2000, might have been 2008, 2009, probably early 2009, January 2009. And I had published my first book like just a few weeks before that. And it was at that event that inspired me to take my brand and my business to a whole nother level. So everybody probably has a Les Brown story of where were you? When did you first hear? When did you first see him? When did you first hear him speak his story? And yeah, we can all remember. You've impacted so many. We're so grateful for you to come on this show this morning, to be, to share your laughter with our audience. I know we're going to be networking with you all week long with Manny Lopez. You're going to be on the Connect Summit next week. Final wisdom thought that you want to leave with our audience today?
Yes, I'd like to say that all things work together for good for those who love God and to those who are called according to his purpose. That my heart goes out to the families that have lost loved ones and going through a challenging time, who lost their jobs and their businesses. And know that we will get through this. This has not come to stay. It has come to pass. And to stand strong, to support and help each other. I was talking to a lady who flew all the way from Australia for me to train her to speak. And I asked her, why did you come to me? And she said, I heard you speak in the Georgia Dome. You spoke from your heart. Can you teach me how to speak from my heart? I said, yes, that's my superpower. And then I asked her, why? And she said, I believe that the world is divisive, hateful, and violent, not because of a few people, but because too many people are silent. And that grabbed me. And she said, and I want to raise my voice, a voice of peace and love and harmony, and create a better world. I want to leave that kind of legacy. I said, well, let's get to it.
Wow.
And we all have the opportunity to do that. And I think that's what you're about as well.
Yeah, sharing, because we say that everybody has a story to share, that your story is not too small to share.
Absolutely not. Maya Angelou said, I saw something on story that really grabbed me the other day. I know the two of you will love this. If you share facts with me, I will examine them. If you share, I want to get down to the last part of it. If you share something with me that I can identify with, I would agree with you. But if you share a story with me, it will live in my heart forever. And Maya Angelou said, there's nothing as painful as an untold story buried in your soul.
Wow.
Oh, Les, what a fabulous
way to stay with him all day.
Right? A perfect start to our week, perfect start to our day. Les, thank you so much. This has just been our honor. We've been looking forward to it. I know so many people have. Lots of great resources, of course, to go and watch those videos that Les recommended. Grab a copy of I Am Hungry at IamHungryLesBrown.com. Take advantage of his generosity, his gifts that he threw in there. And then check him out, like follow him. He's out everywhere. You said it. This is a speaker's dream right now. You never have to get off your plate.
He actually goes live at 2 p.m. Eastern every day on his Facebook page.
Yes, absolutely. And keep your toilet tissue close to you, please.
Don't waste it.
Right.
My son had a roll in his bedroom, and I'm like, what is that doing in here? What do you think is that?
You didn't cut that out.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless you.
Tina, would you like to?
Yeah, so I'm Tina Torres, the co-host of the Angel and Tina Morning Show, the client retention expert, where I teach you how to build relationships that matter, to create those clients for a lifetime, to increase your cash flow without adding a single new client. And you can text the word connection to 26786. Text the word connection to 26786, where you can get your free 7 ways to increase your cash flow right now.
I love it. I love it. And it looks like Les popped off. He's like, oh, I guess they're done with me. Like, he's like, I'm out. Right? I got things.
Wow, what great nuggets, right? That he just dropped. I was like, I think that was the first time you and I both had like dead air. We were like, wow.
Like, right? We have to drop our jaws, right? We're just listening as you all, we always do, right? We're so used to listening to Les Brown from stage, right, on videos, and he has this cadence about him that just draws you in.
And that laughter, that giggle that he has, it's so contagious.
He's one of those that his story, and like, this is me, right? This is my story. It's not holding me back. I'm not ashamed of it, right? I'm not gonna let it hold me back. I'm not gonna be embarrassed to share it. This is who I am. And I think everybody has something that we think, well, because of this, I can't do that, right? Because of this, I can't do that. And Les just breaks down all those barriers, right? Because of this is why I can
do that.
Yes, right.
I found that out last year when I started sharing my story. I didn't want to share it. I was like, no, I don't want people to think that I'm weak and that I had a weak moment and that, all this. But then you start sharing it and you have these people come up to you, or these people reach out to you and say, thank you so much.
Yeah. Right. Because we can relate, right? Yeah. It gives us something to relate to. And we've all been through pain, right? Yeah. Suffering. It is the one common denominator that.
And it shows that you're real. It shows that you're not this perfect person that's on stage that has it all together, because we don't.
Nope. We've just taken action, right? Yeah. We put ourselves out there. We've aligned with some great mentors, maybe got rid of some of those toxic relationships and replaced them with some more nourishing ones. I love the way that he said that, right? They're either toxic or they're nourishing. Yeah. And there's no in between. And you're like, well, sometimes
it's hard. It's hard, especially when they're family.
Yeah.
To cut that tie.
Right. Well, you just don't have to give them the straw.
Yeah.
You don't have to give them the straw.
You don't have to get them the energy straw.
Well,
so what do you have for our audience?
Oh my gosh, Tina, this week is insane, fabulous. So, the last couple of weeks, it was all about leading up to the Assets Are Sexy event.
Yeah. And which was a fabulous, oh my God. I sat there and listened to it most of the day on Friday. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Over 40 people took the stage and just served and delivered, and they just gave and gave all day long. The energy was incredible. It was the largest online event that we had put on. Over 1,200 people had registered. And it was quite the production. I'm super excited about that. If you have questions, there's some ways that you can get plugged in, register for the next Assets Are Sexy. We're meeting this week. Our team is meeting this week to start the ball rolling on that. But this week, of course, started our week with Les Brown. He is our keynote speaker for our 4th Connect Summit, which is next Tuesday, May 26th.
May 26th from 12 to 6 Eastern.
12 to 6 Eastern.
In fact, we can probably... Do you want to go ahead and announce our keynotes? Our speakers for the day? Do we have them all confirmed quite yet?
Not well. There's a couple. There's a couple that I'm still waiting on.
So we're going to go live later on today and announce all of the speakers for Connect Summit 4.
Yeah, but it is really coming together. The caliber of speakers we do have. Let's just say the Denver Broncos are going to be represented.
Maybe a few of them.
Right, maybe more than one.
And I'm hoping a couple of them are single. And I know Chelsea is watching. She said the other day on one of our posts that every Connect Summit, you guys are leveling up. leveling up.
It is. It does. It just kind of keeps going. So yeah. So next Tuesday, May 26th, it's going to be incredible. Our cocktail party, we're going to have a comedian. Sam Adams is going to be the comedian at the end of the day cocktail party. This week, I've got some great resources going
We're
on.
doing Network of Influence with Mandy
Network of
McLeod.
Influence. Yes,
Yep.
I'm hosting a speaker mastery with Bill Walsh
Yep.
tomorrow. We're doing a fun game on Friday called The Interview, where
Oh, I can't wait for that. I just
Yeah.
registered for it. I was like, should I register for this?
yes. It's going to be so much fun, right? It's going to be so much fun. And I was, well, when Les says level up, like put
Yeah.
yourself in front of, people that you can learn from, that you can challenge yourself and just raise up. And so I was with Iman. Do you remember Iman Agay? He's in Canada, right?
Yep.
And so he was doing something really fun on Saturday, and I left, and my husband and I went down to the river, and we were just watching the river. I'm like, people just need more fun. Like right now, we need something exciting. We need something fun. We need to break the monotony.
Yes.
We need to, because we are just,
Get
we're
the
just
laughter.
losing ourselves.
Yeah.
We're just losing ourselves by not being out. Even though we don't have to travel, which is good,
Yeah.
we still need human interaction and human engagement.
Right. And I think a lot of it too is that interaction. What Les was saying, that hug, the face to face. We are kind of missing that now, even though you and I, joke around and are like, oh, I don't think we're ever gonna travel again.
Well, it's no fun being out with like here, people are wearing their masks.
Yeah,
and
we have to wear masks here too, and gloves.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't gotten that, but like they have you going down the aisles, so you don't have to pass people. Like the whole human interaction, and like we're afraid of humans now, and I just think that cannot be good for our soul.
Yeah.
People just cannot be good for our soul. So
Yeah.
what a fabulous, so plug in.
And this week we have some major guests on our show.
Major
guest on our show. Every time I call her, I'm like, I got this person. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh, I got this person. I'm like, oh my God.
We have the oh my gosh moments all day. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like we just thought, let's just start. Let's do it.
Just a morning show.
Yeah. And it has expanded, it has elevated, and
we just had Les Brown on our show.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty
Did you
big
ever think 6 weeks ago when we started this that we would have Les Brown on our show?
No. It's just Angel and Tina hanging out with some friends.
Angel and Tina morning show with these little people with us, our colleagues. And now we have Les Brown, Sharon Lecter. Forbes Riley.
Forbes Riley, I know, right? Susie Carter's going to be on our summit. She was the CFO for Lisa Nichols.
We have the co-owner of Herbalife coming on. We have the owner of Banner Season coming on.
Yeah, elevating. But still the bright start to your day. So we really do have to get going now. So we have to go start our day.
Oh, you have some great information, some great freebie for our audience.
I do. Plug in, get your complimentary transformational media guide at makeyourbigImpact.com. MakeyourbigImpact.com. Connect with journalists, get booked on radio shows, television, magazines, podcasts, get started with a guaranteed list, a full year of attention-grabbing headlines at makeyourbigImpact.com. That's my gift to you. Thanks for hanging out with us, Tina.
Thank you guys so much for joining the Angel and Tina Morning Show, and where we hope you have a great week this week, and always come back 10 a.m. Eastern on the Angel and Tina Morning Show. And we hope you had a bright start to your day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Les. Bye, guys.